Good morning, everyone, before it becomes afternoon. Welcome back from the long weekend. I hope you had time to visit your families and loved ones. Maybe just as a recap, we ended on a good note. We passed the budget. It's officially now in the hands of the Senate. And we've constituted a small committee that will continue to be reviewing. Of course, it's meeting with the Senate panel for the bicameral conference in time for the passage on or before December 5th. So that's how we ended the year, and then we have a full plate in the next around 2 months until the Christmas break. So the four of us are ready to give some recaps and answer some questions on some vital issues and
or if not that bill, which bill?
Well, just to give a recap also, and then I'll let each of the speakers speak for their own committee. Definitely, whether you're in the Senate or the House, the time is always consumed for the budget when that bill is pending in your chamber. No? And then after that, it's up to each committee chair to initiate and to fast track the issues that are in their committee. I will let the chairmen here speak for themselves, but I think the record is, it's on record, no? How much work they've already been put into it, even before the debates on the bill, the debates on the budget were on the floor. And I think they continue to have, if not hearings, meetings on this issue. So I think they're very well prepared to jump right back in on many of the issues that, in a way, had to be put, not really on hold, but had to take the second place to the finalization of the budget because we were all required to be present for the budget meetings. So on that note, let's hear from the different chairmen, and then to the extent that we can fill in for those committees that are not represented by chairmen here, we will do this.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Allow me to give you an update on the activities of the Committee on Transportation. As regards the traffic crisis bill, which aims to equip or grant the President and the Department of Transportation with the right strategies and solutions to solve the traffic crisis. Let me just clarify the record that yes, the Committee on Transportation is determined to grant special powers to the President and to the Department of Transportation. Hindi po kami nagpapaligoy-ligoy dito. Seryoso po kami na bigyan ng solusyon ang pang-araw-araw nating problema sa kalsada. Without a doubt, the Committee on Transportation is one with the President's call and the public's cry to solve the traffic crisis. At the moment, it is safe to say that there is a general consensus among the members of the House of Representatives that there is a need to address the existing traffic congestion. In this connection, the Committee on Transportation held a marathon of 10 hearings here in the House of Representatives where we listened to the representatives of the various government agencies, including the Department of Transportation, DILG, the LGUs, and the various private stakeholders. We are now coming up with a substitute bill. Ano po ngayon ang magiging laman ng ating substitute crisis bill? Let me run through some major portions of the bill we are currently drafting. Number one, the scope of the bill. The bill is limited to the traffic crisis on our land transportation. It covers Metro Manila and the nearby cities, Metro Cebu and Davao City. Though we have limited the scope of the bill to these three metropolitan areas, it does not mean that other cities and municipalities do not have transport problems. They may not be under a traffic crisis now, but still their transport system needs to be improved. We look forward for the traffic crisis bill to also serve as template for charging the transport system in other areas too. Second, the social cost in our solution. As mentioned earlier, we came up with a solution to the crisis within the traffic crisis, which we call the displacement crisis. We provided the following support mechanism to the drivers and employees of PUVs who will be displaced by route rationalization, law enforcement, and mass transport projects. Like DSWD to help the affected workers through the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, TESDA to give priority to the affected workers in training courses, DOLE and PUA to help professional drivers and mechanics in looking for employment here or abroad, DepEd, DSWD, and TESDA to provide scholarships to the children of the displaced transport workers, DBP to provide financing schemes to displaced operators or drivers in order for them to modernize their units. Third, the inter-branch cooperation in our version of the bill, the judiciary can support in two instances. Number one, the prohibition against the issuance of TROs and preliminary injunctions by lower courts except the Supreme Court on priority projects, programs, and policies to implement to address the traffic crisis. Number two, the creation of a special traffic crisis court in each of the metropolitan areas to expeditiously resolve all actions emanating from the implementation of the law, including expropriation proceedings. On the other hand, the Ombudsman, COA, and Civil Service Commission can support the creation of a joint committee that will expeditiously resolve complaints filed against the public officials and to make recommendations on how to rectify the audit, personnel, and other issues pending before them. So we are thankful to the judiciary and the constitutional bodies for being supportive of such setup. Fourth, transparency and full disclosure. We are mandating the full disclosure of all matters relating to the implementation of the bill, such as the disclosure of the traffic management plan, priority projects, budget or funding source, even the minutes of meetings during procurement or negotiation, and the background of the personalities involved. Fifth, liability of officials. There will be penal sanctions for erring officials during the effectivity of the bill for intentional, negligent, and even inept actions, especially in the implementation of the priority projects to address the traffic crisis bill. Lastly, the title of the bill, our version will be entitled the Traffic Crisis Act of 2016. These are all we can share for now. Rest assured that we are coming up with a comprehensive bill that will ensure an inclusive and rationalized transportation system for our commuters. We are looking forward to having 2 more TWGs. It will then be approved on the Mother Committee of the Committee on Transportation next week. Then it shall go to the Committee on Appropriations. Thereafter, we intend the bill to go to the plenary by first week of December. Sa paglabas at pagpasa po ng bill na ito, inaanyayahan po namin ang lahat na basahin at pag-aralang maigi ang aming pananalan. Magtulungan po tayo para maisaayos ang gulo sa ating kalsada. With the support of Speaker Bebot Alvarez, we are going to the extra mile to immediately pass a law that is complete, constitutionally sound, and responsive to our actual needs.
Thank you very much, Chairman Sarmiento. Can we provide a copy to the
Later.
President? Yes, I will be getting the copy from the Congressman. Then we will blast the copy to all of you. Thank you.
Ma'am, connected po doon.
Sir, if you expect the bill to be in plenary by December, pwede po ba nating sabihin by January may implement na po ng DOTR yung special powers?
Well, we have to consider also na may counterpart kami sa Senate. Now, ang Senate po ngayon is considering the budget of 2017. So it will depend po sa coordination po ng Senate and the House. I am scheduling to meet Senator Grace po to synchronize our Traffic Crisis Act of 2016.
Sir, General Rosario. Sir, there have been concerns about negotiated contracts. What will be the time? Do you have a time frame within which both houses should approve the bill?
Well, doon sa negotiated contract, may mga kaba yung ibang sector na maka-apusulin ito. But rest assured, itong Congress po will not allow na mangyari po yan. We will ensure that projects are above board, complete, transparent, and subject to the oversight functions of the Senate and Congress.
But right now, what are the controls that you can tell us? Meron ko ba yung limit lang to how much is the contract should be? At saka yun anong mga companies lang ang pwede sumali in case...
Well, sa ngayon po, as I said, we are scheduling a technical working group activity this week, and makafinalize po yan after 2 technical working group meetings and then subject to the approval of the committee, and then pag-uusapan po pa rin yan sa plenary for debate kung ano ang nararapat.
So there is no contract cost limit?
Yeah.
If I may, as the chairman had already pointed out, all of these details will be hammered out. At lalabas kung kailangan meron bang limits, kung sino-sino mga companies, and all of this. In fact, pag-aaralan pa nga kung i-limit ba to a number of companies. Itong lahat na to, mga details na po ito, at hanggang ngayon, dinidiscuss pa sa PWD. Very important, I assure you. That is why we cannot just give an offhand answer right now.
White Salvacion po ng DCWD. Kay Congressman Romeo Acop lang, Chairman ng Peace and Order Committee. Sir, ang sabi ng iba, elimination, wrap out, yung nangyari kay Mayor Espinosa na nangyari sa loob ng jail. Kung kayo ang tatanungin, former police official kayo and now Chairman ng Peace and Order Committee, how would you describe the incident? And ano yung nakita niyong questionable sa naging operation ng CIDG?
Maraming salamat sa inyong katanungan. Bago po ako pumunta rito, yun na talaga ang iniisip ko ng tatanungin sa akin bilang chairman ng Public Order and Safety. But anyway, ako po'y matagal na investigador At bilang isang investigador, hindi kami kaagad nagkukonclude unless mabasa namin yung official investigation report to be submitted by the appropriate authorities. But be that as it may, from the reports that I have heard and read, all the signs of a summary killing are there, unless all the issues or questionable actions on the part of the operating officers would be answered by them appropriately. So as of now, I'm waiting. I have already asked the PNP to submit their initial report insofar as the incident is concerned. Second, I am getting information which are supposed to be validated insofar as that incident is concerned.
Could you share us information?
I cannot. These are not yet validated. Baka masira yung reputation ng mga taong babanggitin ko po.
Meaning, ano lang sir, general lang. I'm sorry for being makulit. Trabaho hindi po. Ibig lang sabihin po nun sir, may connection doon sa motive why he was summarily executed.
Lahat po naman ng investigation na magaganap ay kailangan ma-determine mo yung motive. If you determine the motive, then you will find out kung sino po yung nagutos, kung ano po ang connection ng mga tao na may kinalaman dito. As an investigator, talagang hanapin mo yung motive.
Kanina po sabi niyo, all signs of summary killings ay nandun present po sa insidente. Could you please tell us kung ano yung mga implications?
Number one, why should a search warrant be requested doon sa isang government facility? It is under the control of government already. Number two, the time when the search warrants were executed, pwede namang gawin sa araw, hindi sa gabi o kaya sa dawn. Ito po ang mga question. Number three, wala pong lumalabas na resulta ng cross-examination ng judge na nag-issue ng search warrant doon sa deponent. Kasi pag nagre-request ng authorities, police authorities ng search warrant, there is supposed to be a witness called a deponent na magsasabi exactly in detail kung ano ang meron doon sa selda ni Mayor Espinosa at saka ni Mr. Yap. Dahil two search warrants were issued, one for the cell of Mr. Yap and one for the cell of Mayor Espinosa. So gusto kong makita yung cross-examination nung judge doon sa deponent. Kasi as it is, from the reports, wala namang baril na sinasabi doon sa selda ni Mayor, ni Mr. Yap. Ang may baril lang, illegal firearms, doon po sa selda ni Mayor Espinosa. Kaya these are the part of the things that I want to be clarified kung ako. But habang hindi nasasagot po yan, nandun po sa aking kaisipan na hindi tama yata ito.
your committee investigate the matter?
Well, it would depend. Number one, para maka-imbestiga po ang isang committee dito po sa Kamara, there must be a resolution filed by a member of the lower house wherein the Committee on Rules will determine which committee will handle the matter. The other one is if the committee would want to take up the matter, then there's supposed to be a 2/3 vote of all the members of that committee.
Sir, yung pag-serve ng warrant is covered by a process ba na the same way that yung search warrant binibigay dun sa civilian na let's say somebody who is not under the custody of the government. Is it the same process ba? I mean, halimbawa sa pag-serve ng warrant, usually they ask the presence of the official or other witnesses who may testify that the search warrant has been processed regularity.
Maybe you're referring to the conduct of the search warrants. There are supposed to be witnesses who must be present insofar as the implementation of the search warrant is concerned. We do not have a clear report insofar as the persons present during the implementation of the search warrants. That's why I have to wait for the official investigation report of the NBI or the Philippine National Police on the matter.
Actually waiting for maybe issues na wrap up today.
Kakagaling lang natin sa mahabang break, di ba? So baka maganda nga, magtrabaho muna kami ng 3 days. Tapos saka tayo ready magbigay ng updates. No? Because parang I was really thinking about it. Parang yung news natin is dependent na rin on what will happen in the next few days.
Meron pa kayong comment, yung ladies, Senator De Lima filed a case against the President, yung rito po, habeas data ho ba yan? Do you have any comment about this, considering that women issues, women rights issues have been brought to fore on these cases? Maybe you know your views, ma'am.
I don't know the details of the case, so as a lawyer, it's prudent for me to also find out the details before I make a comment. So, like I said, let's get our feet wet again and get updated on what's going on because I'm not aware.
How about the hindi na details, but the right of people to file charges against a sitting president? Do you think that can be ruled on by the Supreme Court?
I don't know if the Supreme Court will try to change a long-standing policy. It's been a long-standing policy that the president has been sued. So I think your question should be directed to the Supreme Court, but I'm not aware that there is any reason to change that.
How about Deputy
Shall I answer on the women issue or the...
Pero ito, sinasabi niya yata ni Laila de Lima dito, it's a personal issue. She has been naharas siya, binabasta siya ng harapan sa publiko.
Well, everybody naman has that right there. It's a constitutionally guaranteed right to sue. I think it should not be a matter of trying to make this a gender-sensitive issue, because whoever would feel that they are being harassed or they need to take redress before the court, that is a constitutional right that anybody can avail of, man or woman.
Even against the president?
I take the position of my fellow Deputy Speaker, Pia Cayetano, that this is really a question that the Supreme Court should answer, because as far as we know, as far as all the other past administrations have been concerned, the President is immune from suit, and if ever we have any grievances to be brought against him, then impeachment proceedings can be filed, or an impeachment complaint can be filed against the president.
Okay, so with that, we would like to thank our guest for today, Deputy Speaker Pia Cayetano, Deputy Speaker Gwen Garcia, Chair, Transportation Chairman, Representative Cesar Sarmiento, and Public Order and Safety Chair, Representative Romeo Acop. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming.
So, tapos na po yung press con. Thank you po sa panonood.